Hello, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. So for my very next guest of this week is this incredible singer and songwriter known by the name of Wrecklikeme. So I'm about to add Wrecklikeme onto the live now to have a chat with Wrecklikeme about her incredible music that she's made. So yeah, let's add Wrecklikeme in and have a chat with Wrecklikeme. Here we go. Hello,
Hey,
how's it going?
it's great. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks. I just want to say first up, thank you so much for taking the time to join my show. It's such a pleasure having you on the show today. To people that don't know who you are, if you can give like a bit of backstory about yourself and introduce yourself, that would be incredible.
Yeah, so my name is Megan. I am the artist behind Wreck Like Me. I am from Michigan, but I live in Ohio now, so I'm Midwest gal, and I have been making music for a little over 2 years now.
Awesome. So we'll dive right into the questions now. So for my very first question, you've created incredible songs, past and present. And
Thank
for
you.
the very first song I'm going to name is you've created an original song called Here. What was it like creating this song, and what's the meaning behind this song?
So here was one of the songs off of a three song EP that I created during quarantine. But it was actually one of the first songs that I ever wrote. I think that it was maybe the second song that I wrote. Maybe it was the first. So it's an older song. And when I was first writing, pretty much all of the songs that I was writing were, to some extent or another, like faith-based. And so the song here specifically is kind of about a time in my life that I was feeling sort of alone and sort of abandoned. And it was kind of my response to that. But the actual creation of the song, I am not much of a producer. I like when people produce things for me. um, but I did a lot of that song and the songs off of the EP. I did a lot of the production of, and it would have been in like the early stages of the quarantine last year.
So on to our very next question. So you also created an original song called Be Near. What was it like coming up with the idea of creating this one, and what's the meaning behind this one?
So Be Near would have been my first release, but I actually wrote it after. I think it would have been one of my maybe third or fourth songwriting. It's got kind of the same idea. It's coming from the same place that Here would be, where I was feeling very alone, was feeling isolated, but it's different from Here in that Here is more of an angry response to that feeling, while Be Near is more of kind of an earnest and heartfelt response and kind of the next step of feeling alone. You've got that first step where you're just frustrated that you feel like that. And then the next step is when you start to like reach out for help, and Be Near was kind of based on that idea.
So on to our very next question. So you also have created an incredible original song called Kill Me Slowly. What was it like creating this one, and what's the meaning behind this one?
So Kill Me Slowly is another song off of that EP from last year. It's kind of an ode to the things that we love that are bad for us and the process of figuring out what those things truly are, what they actually do to us, because at first we think that they're really good, we love them, and then eventually you get to the point where you realize how toxic those things are for you. So that's the idea behind the song Kill Me Slowly. Another one of the really early songs I would have written a couple years back when I first started writing. Same kind of process as Here, like production wise, it was something that I mostly self-produced, and it's a pretty simple song production wise, but I enjoyed it anyway.
So on to our very next question. So you've also created an original song called Letter to My Mother. Such an incredible song, by the
Thank you.
way. What was it like coming up with the idea of creating this one, and what's the meaning behind this one?
So there was a period of time that I was taking guitar lessons, and the guy that I took guitar lessons from is a pretty experienced songwriter. And he told me that he wanted to focus on songwriting as like a part of our lessons. And so Letter to My Mother was kind of born out of that. It is my favorite song that I have out by a long shot. It is, then my teacher actually produced this song. He's a great producer. The song is so well produced. It's got a lot more complexity in the instruments and everything like that. It's my most recent release. It's probably about 9 months old, I think, at this point. The idea behind that song, well, part of the idea behind it was just to like write an excellent song, really take my time and be very thorough with it. But also like it was about kind of processing through my faith specifically, trying to figure out like, okay, if I was really questioning a lot of things and was feeling like maybe if I let go of this thing that has been a part of my life for a long time, like I will lose a lot of my life. I might lose, in the title, it's a letter to my mother. So I'm like, maybe I'm going to lose my relationship with my parents or my friends or my job even. I work at a faith-based organization. And while at the end of that journey for me specifically, I came to continue to believe and hold on to my faith. It was a real healing process because my faith has changed from that point. It was really good for me to write this song. Writing this song was a huge part of this healing process and a huge part of all of that. I'm really proud of Letter to My Mother. I love that song.
I have to say, by the way, like I love like the songs that we've like named so far in this interview. I have to say, like your voice is truly sensational.
Thank
Sensational. Like
you.
it really is. Like your voice is so soulful. Like to people that haven't heard of like Megan's songs, definitely go check them out because you have so much talent. You really do.
Thank you so
Like
much.
yeah, it's so soulful and it just people definitely go check them out. Like the songs are truly incredible, and I
Thank
highly
you.
recommend people go check them out. So onto that. So what's like, how did you get into singing in the first place? So what made you as an artist say, hey, I want to start getting into like singing in the first place?
Honestly, like I have loved music for a really long time. I would have like taken piano lessons as a kid, absolutely hated it, but now I'm a piano teacher, so the tables have turned. But when I was 18, I like really started getting into wanting to be good at like music and playing instruments, but I didn't actually really start writing until a couple years back. And the reason that I started writing was actually because a friend of mine knew some guys who were coming to town who were going to play a show. They needed an opener. So he was like, hey, can you write a couple songs and play this? And so I did. And I just ended up loving it. And one of my, the person who was teaching me guitar at the time is kind of a mentor of mine, and even in songwriting specifically. And he kind of had encouraged me and mentored me through like some of the songwriting, still does, which is incredible. Yeah, so that's how I would have gotten into it. And I just grew to love it and want to be better at it.
So on to our very next question. So who would be your like inspirational person or music artist in the industry, and why?
I have a lot of people that I feel very inspired by musically, but honestly, one of them, and this is kind of more of a recent inspiration, would actually be Taylor Swift. She's such an excellent songwriter, and she's very versatile, like has done tons of different genres, and also has been around for like over a decade and just seems to get better and better at like what she does, which is just kind of the dream as an artist, not to like, be in the industry for like 2 years or 3 years peak and then kind of peter out. But also she's just, changed the music industry like forever, probably. One of the, I don't know, I considered her to be very talented. I would have gotten into her like last year when she released Folklore. It's more my jam than like country, but it's, yeah, I think that she's wildly talented.
Well, you're not the only one. Like I've had like a lot of singers on my show, and they're
Hmm.
just like Taylor Swift. Like Taylor
Hmm.
Swift is the singer that everyone looks up to, and
Yeah.
because like Taylor Swift is such one of those iconic, inspirational people that just captures you, and she has
Yeah.
such an incredible voice and
Oh my
vocal,
gosh. Yeah.
yeah, and so much talent with Taylor Swift. So, yeah, I see why people pick Taylor Swift as an artist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So on to our next question. So what does performing music mean to you, like especially as an artist?
Um, sorry, my cat is trying to come
No,
to the
it's fine.
camera. I love performing because I love getting to connect with people. I have really missed performing the last like 2 years. I would have only performed like my original songs a couple of times, but getting to know that like things that you have written and feelings that you've experienced and turned into music like resonates with other people and they want to hear that and they want to be part of it is super humbling and just crazy. Even if it's just your friends, or even if it's just people that you kind of know, that come to these shows and like you get to be like in this moment together and experiencing this at the same time, and I get to be on one end of that, like giving my art to them, and like they get to be on the other end and receive that, and I love to be on the other end in like concerts and stuff. It's so crazy. And also because some of my earlier songs are about feeling alone and then getting to perform and realize like people are connecting to these things, like we're all experiencing the same things, like none of us are actually like alone, is a really heartening thing to be a part of.
Awesome. So on to our very next question. So if you could work with any top 3 music artists in the industry, who would they be and why?
So probably Taylor Swift. She's crazy talented. She inspires me a lot. That's kind of a no-brainer for me. I really like Phoebe Bridgers, who is just kind of like a darker Taylor Swift, I think. I think that her songwriting is so unique. And she has, I don't know, like the stuff that she writes about is not super typical of like most music that's happening now. I think she's like very creative and like she somehow has this like intense simplicity in her writing and also like a lot of complexity somehow. Like she's combined both of these things, which is insane to me. And then also this one's a little bit out of left field, but this band called Half Alive, who is not like in my genre really at all, but I just think that they are such cool guys. I like love, they're kind of like an alternative pop band. If you don't know them, you should absolutely check them out. They're awesome. But I also just love like they're committed to spreading like positivity, and I really like that. I think they're great artists. I think that all of their art is very cool. So those would be my 3, I think.
I love those choices. So on to our very next question. So what have you learned about yourself as a person and especially as an artist, like during COVID?
I think that creating art in a vacuum is really difficult. But I actually think that it becomes a lot more difficult if you're creating art for other people. I didn't understand this at first when somebody told me, and I've realized over the last couple of months that now I get it. Creating art for yourself is like what you should do. You should create art that you like and not create it because you think other people are going to hear it or love it, because like I'm a small artist. I have like my top song has like 2,000 streams. Like I'm not famous in any terms, but like I love those songs and I think that they're cool, and getting to create, if I create things so that other people will hear them and then I don't get very many streams or whatever, I'm gonna be sorely disappointed. But like when I get to create things for myself and then other people resonate with them, that's awesome. And that's kind of a thing I think a lot of people would have had to face during COVID, because you're not creating things for people. They're not going to hear them. You don't get to perform. But if you're creating art for yourself and for your own healing process or for your own enjoyment or just like to challenge yourself, like that was something important to like for myself to learn, especially in quarantine.
Awesome. So on to our very next question. So like what are like the positive and negatives into creating your own music in the industry, and how do you get through those like negative moments as an artist?
So some of the positives, especially being a small artist, is like I can create what I want to. Like I'm not bound to a record label. I'm not bound to what anybody else needs from me. And so getting to be as creative as I want to be and also saying what I want to say. Like I'm not like held back by anything in that regard. But also on the flip side, doing things on your own as like a solo artist and as a small artist, like there can be a lack of kind of creative direction or a lack of creativity. I've learned that you just gotta keep like creating, even if it's terrible. Like you just gotta like keep that machine going, because like something good's gonna come out, and it's just like practicing any other thing. Like the more you write, the better you're gonna get. The more creative you will be, the more skilled you will be. That it doesn't change for this. You're not gonna be really good automatically, like right away. Like my songs, my later songs are way better than my earlier songs, and my next songs that will come out someday will be way better than the ones that I have out now. Like, but also going back to what I was saying about creating art for yourself, that's a way to kind of combat that lack of creativity, because if you're trying to like pump out stuff for other people specifically, like you're gonna hit a wall at some point. But if you're making music for yourself, if you're making any sort of art for yourself, like that's gonna kind of help you from hitting that wall, and you'll just get to keep sharpening those skills.
So on to my very last question. So like what's like next for you, like music wise, that you would like to announce on the show for the rest of 2021?
So I'm really excited. I am working on my first full-length album right now. So I'm in the pre-production stages. I'm just really excited. It's kind of a new genre direction for me. It'll be mostly folk, a little more like Phoebe Bridgers, and I don't even really know how to define the genre that my music that's out now is, which is okay, I guess. But this album, so we're in pre-production, writing all the parts. Songs themselves are like fully written, but we're just adding the things that will make them great. The person who would have produced Letter to My Mother is producing this album as well, which I'm really looking forward to. Getting to work with him. I'll do a quick plug for him really quick. His name's Aaron Troyer, but he also has his own project called The Blue Winter, and his music is incredible. You absolutely should check it out. So that's what's next for me. I don't think that album will be out in 2021. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but next year, and I'll be continuing to work on it. I'm raising money for it right now. So I'm really excited about the next stages of my music. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yes, awesome. Yeah. So I have to ask, by the way, I always ask this at the end. Would you like to perform one of your songs on the show?
Sure. Let me grab my guitar.
Wait.
Okay. Where did I put it? 1 second. Sorry.
So good.
I was working on a song today. I'm doing a lot more like a very vocal-based album as well. For this stuff, I was working on the background vocals, so it's in my head. So this is a song I don't have out, but I like this song a lot. So I'm gonna. Does it matter what I perform? Does it need to be something?
It's fine. Like yeah.
Cool. All right. So this song is called "Lie Again," and it will be on this new record someday. It's way too hard to talk about this, so instead I'll cry alone in my car. The only thing I feel is loneliness, 'cause I push the other stuff down too far. I can't explain to you the pain that I'm in, but my sanity is wearing pretty thin, and all I want is you to ask me how I am, so I can say I'm doing fine. Lie again. I'll find that one song that really gets it, puts all my tangled thoughts into words. I'll blast it everywhere I'm driving. This plays out every fear. I can't explain to you the pain that I'm in. My sanity is wearing through. And all I want is you to ask me how I am, so I can say I'm doing fine right and these words won't come out, 'cause they're stuck to the roof of my mouth. So I can't explain the pain that I'm in. My sanity is and all I want is you to ask me how I am, so I can say I'm doing fine, because I can't explain to you the pain that I am in. Oh no, did it just cut out?
It cut out, yeah.
Oh no, how long did it cut out? I'm so
Just
sorry.
like the end bit, just the ending bit.
Okay,
It's all good.
good.
No, you're
Okay.
fine. So I just want to say thank you so much for appearing on my show, Megan. It's been such a pleasure having you on the show today. Such an incredible performance and such a soulful voice, by the way. To people that haven't heard of Megan's songs, definitely go check them out. Do you have like any last final thoughts that you like to say on the show to people?
I would love if you checked out my music. It's in the link in my bio. You can find it on any streaming platform. Wrecklikeme is the name. But thank you so much for having me on your show. This was so fun to like.
Very welcome. It's been such a pleasure. Well, stay safe, Megan, and all the best for your incredible music career.